Well, you know, since May Day is also International Workers' Day, we thought it might be fun to take a look at how we're doing as workers in this country. You know, like, just how we're doing, the state of the American worker, if you will. And that is the focus of today's Deep Dive. It is a segment for those of us who just want to know a little bit more than most people. So for this story, we examined 5 key areas that matter to you: healthcare, pay, things like that. First, it's appropriate we start with the state of union, since May Day, as we know it, goes back to 1886 in Chicago when a riot broke out. Workers there and around the country had been lobbying for the 8-hour workday. More than a century later, here's where we stand on unions. Membership is half of what it was around the time an iconic movie came out that was inspired by real-life events. A factory worker retaliated against her employers for trying to unionize. Let's take a look.
Forget it! I'm staying put! Right where I am! It's gonna take you, and the police department, and the fire department, and the National Guard to get me out of here!
Norma Rae, right? So nationally, okay, so now it looks like we're getting out of place with our graphics here, so let me just skip ahead on this deep dive. When it comes to workplace safety, despite population growth since 1970, when OSHA came around, we've actually seen workplace fatalities drop by roughly 63%. So what about paid sick leave? Well, there are no federal laws around this, but in recent years, here's what we know. 9 states and Washington, D.C. have passed laws requiring companies to offer it for the sake of public health, among other things. Washington is one of them. Now, there are some exceptions, but in general, employees are to get 1 hour for every 40 hours of work. As far as health care, the Affordable Care Act has definitely led to more people getting insurance. In 2013, for example, 82% of the population had health insurance. In 2016, you can see it's now up to 91.2% of those insured. But you don't have to listen to me to tell you that there are some major problems, particularly with the cost of it. And that is partly why, for some people, it feels like we just can't get ahead. When we look at wages across the country, they're slightly higher than what it costs to live. But in Seattle, we have taken a turn just in the last year. For example, our wages grew by 2.1%, but inflation in the Seattle metro area is up 3.3%. And in our area, this is largely being driven by what else? See if you can guess. Chris, you have a guess on what's driving all this?
Housing?
Yeah, the elephant in the room, right?
The centibillionaire who lives across town? Yeah. This is a tricky situation, and I know a lot of people are going, yeah, yelling at the screens, because this is just too common. Whether you own, whether you rent, or you're leasing, it's the costs are going up. It seems like almost every other month, but your paycheck's not.
Right, exactly. And you know, we got a little bit ahead of ourselves on the graphics, but I just wanted to make sure you know that while we have union membership down across the country, we are the 3rd highest place for union membership at like 28% in our state. So sorry about that mix up on that.
And just so that they know that we're not speaking out of school here, the people you're seeing right now, the people behind the camera, the directors, we're all a part of different unions as well. So this is a very relevant topic to all of us.
Awesome.